Good day and welcome to Business Insight. I am Alfreda Bassi. Today we go on an exciting journey into real estate and property transaction process in Nigeria, along with the complexities and opportunities. But before all of that, let me serve you the freshest updates in the business world. The cost of pharmaceutical products in Nigeria has surged by 300%, according to the Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Group of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. This increase is attributed to challenges in obtaining foreign exchange and the high cost of production. The lack of a domestic petrochemical industry and dependence on imported active pharmaceutical ingredients are cited as major contributors to the rising costs, with forex constraints compounding the situation. The 16th edition of the Headies Awards in Atlanta, Georgia has seen Nigerian musician Rema emerge as the night standout, clinching 3 awards and delivering a memorable speech about the resurgence of Nigerian music. Other prominent winners included Ashake, who secured the coveted Next Rated Award, Burna Boy, who received accolades for Afrobeat Single of the Year and Best R&B Song, and Sound Sultan, who earned a special recognition. Selena Gomez was named the International Artist of the Year at the Headies Awards, but Ira Star, who won the Best Female Artist, expressed frustration with organizers for their perceived indifference towards female musicians. The award ceremony ended abruptly without presenting awards in 13 categories, including Ira Star's, leaving many concerned. Moving on, Napoli's President Aurelio De Laurentiis has humorously rejected an offer of 200 million euros from Saudi club Al Hilal for Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen. De Laurentiis stated that the offer could only buy a single foot of Osimhen and suggested that a 500 million euros offer might be considered next year. Despite lucrative offers from Saudi clubs, some top stars like Messi and Mbappe rejected moves to Saudi Arabia, making Osimhen a sought-after transfer target in the Saudi Pro League. Osimhen had a remarkable season in Europe, scoring 31 goals in 39 games, and is currently performing well under Napoli's new manager, Rudi Garcia. Moving on, the UK is committed to enhancing trade ties and plans an African Investment Summit in April 2024, including a special focus on Nigeria's thriving creative industry. This comes after Nigeria's exports to the United Kingdom surged to 3.3 billion euros between June 2022 and June 2023, marking a substantial increase of 1.4 billion euros from the previous year. This growth is attributed to the developing countries' trading scheme, offering favorable access to the UK market. Meanwhile, foreign exchange inflows into Nigeria rose by 17.5% to $17.18 billion in the first quarter of 2023, compared to the previous quarter, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria. This increase was driven by higher inflows from the central bank and other sources. Despite increased outflows, the net foreign exchange inflow into the economy increased by 24.7%, influenced by factors such as non-resident investments and foreign currency withdrawals. O&O PLC, a Nigerian energy solutions provider, is set to acquire 100% of Nigerian Ajib Oil Company Limited from E&I, subject to regulatory approvals. E&I will continue to have a presence in Nigeria through other entities as part of its 2023 to 2026 plan. The deal will increase O&O's stake in various assets, including oil and gas fields, pipelines, power plants, and exploration interests. Wale Tinubu, O&O CEO, believes His acquisition will bring significant opportunities and highlights the vital role of indigenous companies in Nigeria's upstream sector. Away from that, financial services company Al-Khair Capital Dubai has launched the $100 million Al-Khair Capital Healthcare Sector Fund. It aims to invest in healthcare enterprises utilizing cutting-edge artificial intelligence to enhance healthcare providers. The fund will be domiciled at the Dubai International Financial Center and is designed with an open-ended structure. Al-Khair Capital has partnered with Clahim Technologies, a fintech firm that provides all-powered solutions for assessing insurance claims to manage the fund and address liquidity challenges in the healthcare sector, particularly in prompt payments to medical facilities. Saudi Arabia is reportedly planning to invest up to $25 billion in Pakistan over the next 2 to 5 years in various sectors, including mining, agriculture, and information technology. Pakistan's interim Prime Minister Anwarul Haque has stated that this investment is part of an effort to boost foreign direct investment in Pakistan. The nation is currently grappling with the balance of payments crisis and requires substantial foreign exchange to address its trade deficit and repay international debts. The investments would represent the largest ever by Saudi Arabia in Pakistan if confirmed. Belgium has achieved Europe's largest ever retail debt offering by selling 21.9 billion euros worth of bonds to over 600,000 investors. The one-year notes offer a competitive 3.1 coupon rate, surpassing the average rate of 3.13% for similar maturity Belgian deposits, according to European Central Bank data. This initiative aims to stimulate competition among banks and elevate savings rates, making it an attractive opportunity for retail clients. It is time to highlight the developments in the different capital markets. Get ready for some commodities and currency market updates as well. I'll be right back. On the 4th of September, the first weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange (NGX), over 744 million shares were traded in 11,933 deals with a total market value of more than 12 billion naira. This data reflects a significant improvement compared to the previous NGX trading day, with a 48% increase in trading volume, an 88% increase in turnover, and a 57% rise in the number of deals. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange stands at 37.4 trillion naira. Among the 119 NGX listed equities that participated in trading, 38 recorded gains while 19 saw losses. Dangote Sugar Refinery led the gainers with a 10% increase in share price, closing at 66.55 naira per share. This was followed by National Salt Company, John Holt, and Oando. On the downside, Consolidated Hallmark Insurance recorded the most significant loss with a 9.57% price depreciation, closing at 1.04 naira per share. This was followed by Cornerstone Insurance Company, Sunu Assurances Nigeria, and UPDC Real Estate Investment Trust. Fidelity Bank had the highest trading volume with 85.1 million shares traded, followed by Zenith Bank, United Bank for Africa, and Transcorp Nigeria. Moving on, at the close of the first weekday of trading on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, a total of over 4 million shares were exchanged in 1,058 deals, amounting to a market value of more than 128 million Kenyan shillings. Compared to the previous trading day, this data reflects an 89% decline in turnover and a 19% decline in the number of deals. The current market capitalization of the Nairobi Securities Exchange stands at 1.54 trillion Kenyan shillings. Among the 46 NSE-listed equities that participated in trading, 17 recorded gains while 14 saw losses. Liberty Kenya Holdings led the gainers with a 9.59% increase in share price, closing at 4.00 shillings per share. This was followed by Scan Group, Britam Holdings, and Williamson T. Kenya. On the downside, Longhorn Publishers recorded the most significant loss with a 9.92% price depreciation, closing at 2.36 shillings per share. This was followed by Everready East Africa, Nairobi Business Ventures, and Diamond Trust Bank Kenya. Centum Investment Company had the highest trading volume with over 987,000 shares traded, followed by Safaricom, Absa Bank Kenya, and Equity Group Holdings. In the commodities landscape, wheat stands out at 506 to 7.5 US cents per unit, maintaining its pivotal role in global agriculture and food production. Meanwhile, gold remains steadfast at an impressive $1,936.74 US per ounce, attracting investors as a reliable store of value. Silver closely follows suit, currently valued at $23.77 per ounce, reinforcing its status as a valuable commodity. Additionally, copper, an economic health indicator, lags slightly behind at $3.77 per pound, while Brent crude oil retains its significance at $87.76 US per barrel, influencing various sectors and economies worldwide. Now, how's the Nigerian Naira doing against some other currencies in the parallel market? The US dollar is being purchased at 912 Naira and sold at 917 Naira. The British pound is currently acquired at 1,160 Naira and can be exchanged for 1,170 Naira. Furthermore, the euro is transacted at a rate of 980 Naira when sold and can be obtained for 985 Naira when buying. And that concludes the business news. I am Alfreda Bassi. Coming up next on Business Insight is a broader look at commercial activities of the newly opened Lagos Blue Line Rail with Olaoluwa Awon.
social media, many Nigerian young companies were celebrating, wow, we raised Series C, we raised Series D. And anytime they raised these monies, everybody hailed them. But what was behind it? What is behind every raise is that the entrepreneur founder is diluted significantly. We had a very interesting session, and in one of the sessions, there was a role play about a case study on CWG PLC, which is a company that I founded. And the case was written by Columbia Business School to discuss a point about venturing, about entrepreneurship, and about funding for the enterprise. And the case ended on a question: should Austin Okere take the venture capital investment, or should he reject it? Just a little bit of background. So this is a company, CWG, in 2005 that was doing very well. It was riding on the back of the Y2K that just happened at the turn of the century, was riding on the back of the telecom boom that happened immediately after the civilian government of OBJ and GSM was launched, was riding on the back of the bank consolidation in 2005 that was done by Governor Soludo. And in each of these booms, CWG had positioned and taken good advantage. So this is not a company that was in dire need of cash or was desperate in 2005. But we had a plan to list our shares on the stock market, and we thought that the best way to do it was to first do either a private placement, or better still, to do a venture capital fundraise so that they will bring discipline into our operations, governance, strengthen our governance, and of course, bring more technical knowledge. And if people saw that this company was invested in you, probably it will make the listing on the stock exchange more attractive. The issue here is at what price? And I remember that I've discussed something similar on this on social media, where many Nigerian young companies were celebrating, wow, we raised Series C, we raised Series D. And anytime they raised these monies, everybody hailed them. But what was behind it? What is behind every raise is that the entrepreneur founder is diluted significantly. So if I use CWG as a case study, the case that was written by Columbia was that there was an offer of $8 million for 25% of the company, putting the valuation post at $32 million. Make no mistake, the Treasury bill's interest rate is 15% sometimes. Now, if someone is going to bring his money to invest in your company, he's looking for way more than that 15%, given that there's a high risk that his money will not come back. And the rule of thumb is that they're looking for 3 times what they brought in within 5 years. So in our case, they were going to be asking for $24 million within 5 years, or you list and give them a liquidity event or an exit. You have to check very well that this $8 million that you're taking in, you can do business in such a way that the value of the company can cough out $24 million in 5 years, regardless of exchange loss. Here is where it gets complicated. So you receive $8 million, which is converted to you in Naira. 2005 probably was about 130. Now, whether the Naira suffers devaluation or not, you're going to pay that $8 million. Now, paying $8 million, 5 years later, where the Naira is maybe 250 or 260, whilst you are generating your revenue in Naira, becomes almost impossible. And if the venture capital firm then has to take assets because you can't pay, he will end up owning, of course, a big chunk of your company, nothing at all. You begin to look like a money.
Rail has finally been activated, and the inaugural trip by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, moving from Marina down to National Theatre and the last stop at Mile 2. We are taking a turn back to Marina. A lot of people have shared their experience about this initiative, showing excitement and appreciating the governor for the commitment he has shown.
In Lagos, the urge for infrastructural development has always been at the center of concentration. The Blue Rail Metro System initiative is dated far back as 1983, but suffered setbacks from funding and administrative delay. It was a heartwarming morning
As the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, embarked on a historic inaugural ride on the new Lagos Blue Rail, saying this project come alive is the dream come true for many Lagosians as the first phase elevated 13-kilometer trip kicked off with his first passenger, Governor Sanwo-Olu, in company of his deputy, Femi Hamzat, and a delighted crowd of over 500 commuters taking off from the Marina train station. It was a morning filled with anticipation and excitement as the train gently glided along its route at 9:13 a.m. and arrived its final destination at 9:35 a.m., making stops at landmarks such as the National Theatre for 90 seconds and Mile 2, its last destination, and a return back to Marina after a brief examination of the Mile 2 station. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who was the first to use the carry card, during his speech advised commuters to follow measures put in place in order to continue to enjoy the service.
The last card, which is our state citizen identity card, can also be used on the train. So what I employ all of you also, especially students, especially you students, to go get the last card because you can actually drop the last card on the train.
Some of the officials of the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Lamata'S, shed more light on this initiative.
I'm very excited that it's a project that we are privileged to be part of, and today we are starting the passengers operation, and it's so fulfilling for us.
The dream about the Blue Rail is that the Lagos State government has tried to have a unified payment system on all the transport system, the regularized one in Lagos State. And that's why we are using the same carry card system that is being used on the BRT at the moment, and also the waterways. It's going to be the one to be used also for the train ride. There will be no cash collection.
The monumental event was experienced by both children and adults, and various expressions were made.
Delighted, like the feeling is exciting, it's awesome. I feel fantastic. I feel great that, wow.
With this, no stress, no anything, we are free, everything they say.
A group of exciting Lagosians gathered in hearty cheers to celebrate this long-awaited project, cheering the governor in appreciation towards his dedication and recognition of the significance of this transportation milestone.
With this train now, there will be reduction of traffic, because traffic is one thing we Lagosians are suffering here in Lagos. So it will reduce the traffic, and the costs of transportation too will be fair now.
Sanwo-Olu spoke passionately about his dedication to infrastructural development in the state, reassuring the crowd about the progress of the Red Rail project, which is nearing completion at an impressive rate of 95–96%. This commitment to enhancing transportation infrastructure further solidified the government's pledge to meet the growing needs of its citizens.
The rate currently is about 95–96%. And if you don't get 100%, we will concern. But we are certain that before the end of the year, we will not concern the red line.
As this project becomes an integral part of daily life for Lagosians, it is expected to further transform the city's transportation landscape and enhance the quality of life for all its residents. It was a smooth ride from Marina to Mile 2 and back. Now, the Blue Rail is officially open for commuters in Lagos, especially those who want to free themselves from the usual vehicular traffic. I am Grace Komolafe, Souq News.
That report by Grace Komolafe was so fun to watch, and that's why we really need to talk about how this Blue Line train service will continue to work in Lagos. It's one thing to start a business or to start a business operation. It's another thing to be able to sustain it for a long time, considering the fact that Lagosians have had to wait for over 38 years for this to happen. Welcome back to Business Insight. I am Olaoluwa Awe, and interestingly, joining me right now in the studio is Grace Komalafe, the reporter you saw in that report to cover the inaugural operation of the Blue Train Line service in Lagos. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ella.
I must say I'm jealous because you look like you had a lot of fun yesterday.
Oh, of course I did. It was a jolly ride all the way through, from Marina to Mile 2 and back, of course.
Yes, so let's talk about the experience generally, you know, with every public service or with some public services in Nigeria, the citizens have a lot to complain about. What is the process of even getting on this train in the first place? From what you experienced yesterday, what do you need to do first? What do you need to do next? And what do you need to do last?
Okay, so what you need to do first is for you to get your calorie card. And for me, this is actually a good one because I was thinking it was going to come with a different mode of payment, not necessarily paying, transacting cash, exchanging cash, but perhaps a different mode of payment. But because they've made it a unified kind of payment system, that means the calorie card you're using for your BRT, that's the regular Lagos buses, that you will be able to use it at the same time for the train service, the Blue Rail service. So all you need to do is you get your calorie card, go to the train station, you tap in, you cross over, you walk downward to where the train is, and you just board. You
know, for those who already use the BRT, that's
Yeah.
the Lagos long bus.
Yes.
They probably already have a calorie card, but there is still a good number of Lagosians who have not really used any of the state transport services in the past. So how do you where do you get your calorie card? How much do you pay for your calorie card? How easy is all of this?
Okay, so for those that joined the governor for the inaugural trip yesterday, they were given free cards.
Wow.
Yes, they were given free cards. So, and I think they had about 1,000 naira top up already on the card. And there was discount, it was discounted. So, but then going forward, what you're supposed to do is you get your calorie card. You get it from that train station, just the way you can get from the BRT station. You get it for 400 naira. That's the amount for the card. You top up, then, I mean, it's that easy.
Yeah, I'm going to get back to you, Grace Komalafe, because the whole point of you being here is to give us an experiential knowledge of what really transpired yesterday and what you think will become of this train service in the nearest and in the long future. Because, as I mentioned earlier, it's one thing to start a business, it's another thing to sustain it till the very end. But right now, we will be joined by the Director of Rail Transport at the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport. That's Lamata. That's the government agency directly in charge of this train service. I'm talking about Engineer Olasokomi Okusaga. Welcome, Engineer Okusaga. Thank you very much for joining us on Business Insight.
Good morning. Welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you for honoring our invite at such a short notice. We really appreciate that. So let's, yes, you're welcome. Let's now get to the question.
That's why when we speak.
Yes.
Right.
Let's get to the event, the inaugural event that happened yesterday. We understand that this was supposed to be sometime in April. There was a delayed inaugural operation of the train service. What was responsible for the delay, and how was that challenge worked on for us to have the beautiful opening we had yesterday?
Thank you. We set a target of commission at the second quarter 2023, hoping that all the equipment shipped from the abroad foreign country in terms of power will have arrived in Lagos and then cleared and then installed. Some of them do came, and then due to some logistics in terms of timings and all that, couldn't meet up, so we have to. And the priority there is once we have it installed, cleared and installed, we need to set according to international best standard and practice. So when we have that installed, we have to do that, undergo that process. So we can't jump the gun, we can't collapse the process. That was one of the big of the play. But now we have everything on board, we have tested, and we are doing in terms of gradual testing for the operation phase. That's one of the key things that delays the commissioning in this.
Yes, and there's a good number of information about the trains online, but we want to hear from you right now. We understand that this this train will be powered independently to have its own energy source. And just give us an idea of how this is supposed to work smoothly for a very long time.
Okay, can you hear me?
Please go on. I can hear you loud and clear. Please go on.
Okay. Oh, good. What we planned and what we implemented is that we have what is called two electricity power coming from the national grid, from Ikomba and the other one, straight into our system. But because of the power system in Nigeria, we now have what they call a group system, which is the independent power supply that's feeding to that, because after that, we now have a backup system. So we have three systems into one. We have the national grid, we have the IPP power, and we have the backup system. So once there's any fluctuation within the national grid, the IPP, which is the group system, kicks in automatically. So there's no loss of time, no fluctuation within the sequence. So the train will go smoothly. And then before they start the generator or the CNG gases that will now power the IPP system, the group system will stabilize the power. And then we have the supply from the international grid and all that. So we have three systems of power. We have the national grid, we have the IPP system, we have the backup system again. So three systems in one. Yes, with that, I can guarantee you there is no fluctuation that will affect the rolling stock during movement. Thank you.
From the pictures we saw from yesterday's operation and from the experiences that were shared, one will assume that that was a massive investment by the Lagos state government. Could you just give us an idea of how much all of that is worth?
Ideally, the cost is, I don't really like talking about cost, but the thing is that it was a huge investment by the state, because the IPP power that will power more than 14 megawatts, and then 16 at the start, that it can be scalable, scale up to about 24 megawatts that can power the whole neighborhood of Michael all the way to Amuwo of Goma. It's a huge investment by the state.
Okay, so we understand that this project is in two phases, and this is only the first phase. Could you explain that part so that we know what we are to expect on this project?
Okay, the blue line itself is a 27 kilometers. That's the right of way from Marina to. The one that is commissioned that for passenger operation is from Marina to Souq. We have 5 stations: Marina, National Theatre, Gomo, Alaba, and Machu. That one is fully ready, and we have the passenger this morning. Everybody will get positive feedback. And the second phase of it is which is awarded already, and we already finished the detailed design. It will be implemented in full within 3 years. That one goes from Souq, Alakiga, Asia, Volkswagen, Lasting, and Okokomaiko. The one that is completed, we have the whole right of way from Marina to Michael, which is 27 kilometers. The first one in operation now is 13. The next one being about to be 15 kilometers. Thank you.
Yes. Is there a longer plan to make this service cut across every other part of Lagos?
Okay, correct. We have, because Lamata'S works under what they call we call it our own Bible, approved by the state. It's the master plan. We call it Strategic Transport Master Plan. Within India, we identify 6-way network, and then about 14 BRT corridors, and then a monorail that will go within the CBD area of Marina, Ikoyi, Lekki, Agbo. So it's like when we bring people from the neighborhood back to the town, city, and all that, there's something that has to take them around within the city. So we have 6 networks like that, and we have, I will mention them to you. The first week, we have what is called the slow line, which is one of the aspects of the slow line from Okokomaiko to Marina. We have the red line, which goes from Agbado all the way to Marina. And you can see you can hear the governor yesterday said we started commissioning that, but that one has about 5 overpasses. 10 in total, 5 by the state government, think we have completed almost the 5, which is about 95% complete. So that one goes from Agbado all the way to Arena. That's the red line. We have the orange line that goes from what they call it, from Agbowa in Ododo. It goes to Agbowa, it's Maya, everywhere, all the way to Kega. We have the green line that goes all the way from Lekki Trade Zone to Marina. We have the purple that comes all the way from Redeem, goes all the way to Ota. And we have the orange line that comes from Ota, that stops all the way to Rulere. So with that, we have all the Lagos assets covered up. We're going to be made in places. We've done 2 now, which the government is going to commission the red line soon. They'll be there in the next 2 months. And then we go into the green line, and then the purple line, then the orange, and the brown line. That's what we have now.
Thank you very much, Engineer Okusaga. Grace Komalafe was at the opening yesterday. I'm very sure she has questions to ask you.
Yes, yes. You know, I want to ask, there is this saying that humans are the most difficult to control. So, and that will make me ask you questions around security. You know, what are the security measures put in place, you know, to ensure that people don't really get into the rail lines, because they are electrics, you know, and you know how people could be, human behaviors. You just feel you just want to probably give it a try, or you just want to jump through because you're trying to navigate and, you know, cut corners and get through before time or something. So what are the security measures put in place to ensure safety of people around the rail lines?
Thank you. Thank you. I think one of the priorities of Lamata or Lagos is the safety of the people of the water. What we put in place is because we know this is an electrified base, what's in West Africa, and it's using 760 DC, which is very, very high voltage. We look at it and the benchmark against international practice. What we did is, I will mention one. Number one is the whole right of way to the south. Like the fence there before, we looked at that, so this one is not up to the task. So we take all the roads and use palisade fence. This is what it is international practice. You can see the whole right of way is fenced out. We have pedestrian bridge there, and we are doing more. We have one pedestrian bridge again, what they call it, built now. It will be completed in the next 2 weeks. So we have pedestrian bridge across the track, and then fenced out, and then there's a lot of advocacy being done in 7 languages. We still got it to do. It's done Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, French, and Fiji. And there's all strategies across the palisade fence to tell you don't go near the track, and all that. And then you've got the other marshals on the track. We have cameras in terms of safety. The cameras look all the way to the track. We have more than 300 cameras in the 5 stations. In Maria alone, we have cameras. We have cameras more than 40 on the track. We have marshals that will be going there, trained marshals. We have police. We have control systems that monitor the track for power. So we look at that and say, okay, but we're still open for improvement. What we have done so far is that you can't go near the track because it's fenced out. Access, we have pedestrian bridge you can go through. We have about 6 now. We have all stations have access to it. We have what they call warning sign advocacy on the radio. We tell people listen, it's fine. And we thank you for bringing this question up. People will listen to you and very good news. Don't go near the track. That's the thing we've done so far. And then another thing we've done in terms of vandalizing and all that, we install what is called track broken way detector. So if you go near a track and try to cut it or try to steal anything, we have a signal that sends a signal to the protector. It takes your location precisely. We can see you. We can apprehend you.
Thank you.
My own advice is don't go near the track.
Okay.
Don't go near the
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So yesterday it was a privilege to have been in the train together, you know, with the governor. And we saw the interior. I mean, the way the train was properly put together. I mean, it was as if you just want to sit in there and don't want to come out again. So really, I want us to talk about maintenance culture. We can speak from that of the Bay ROT we see today. Yes, when it was newly launched, we had this excitement. The interior was all looking good and all of that. But at some point, we begin to see the way they were all dropping. You see some BRT buses, the glasses, the windscreens are off and all of that. What are the maintenance culture that are in place to ensure that this train system remain intact for use?
Good. That's another fantastic question. So we need to let people know in terms of what it is. You know, maintenance, we call it maintenance special. The one you maintain daily, that's the one you plan to maintain while the train is operational, and the one you maintain where you close the track and maintain. Presently, we have an agreement with the operator to maintain the track 24 hours. That's a 2-year contract, which is subject to review for 2 years. We put in place with both of them equipment that is in terms of the track and all that. Yeah, and another thing we do is that there's a software now that we put in on the track that will tell you how you plan your maintenance culture. And if you can plan the one you want to do, it tells you there's the amber, the red one, the yellow, and the red, the amber, and the gray. It tells you where the track is deteriorating, and that's where you can plan your future maintenance. So we back all of that in, and for the next 2 years, the track is properly, and they're subject to the contract.
Yes, before we move away from maintenance, because that is very important, as you have stated, you know, one of the things that is believed to cause fast wear and tear in equipment and in gadgets like this or train services like this is when you don't even have a high quality vehicle in the first place. So could you please speak to the specification of the train we are using, where were they gotten, you know, how quality are the equipment, you know, the accessories, even to the railway itself, it was constructed newly. So could you please speak to the quality and the details?
Thank you. Let me start from the rolling stock itself. I happen to be one of the leader of the team that designed the rolling stock. So it was designed as trying to get international standard and best practice. The rolling stock itself is designed here 50 years, subject to a kind of maintenance. You can get 50 years of it. And part of what we've done so far is that we have a specification, and we even went there more than once or twice during the manufacture. We went to the site, we've done factory acceptance tests before it goes down to Lagos and all that. We do what they call on-site assessment, and we plan in terms of spare parts. Because what the key thing of maintenance is spare part. When you don't have a genuine spare part or you don't have the part that fits it, we have a spare part that will start for the next 2 years for those rolling stock. So I can guarantee you nothing in terms of spare parts that will go wrong. So all of them are in Lagos now. It's not that it's still there, they are bringing it or it's not. No, they came with the rolling stock. So we have spare parts that will fit it. Anything that is done that is faulty or needs to be changed according to our own plan. So, and then in terms of the going forward, when you want to look at cultural thing of Lagos or Nigerians or we need to imbibe it. We are put in place in terms of maintaining the station itself, because for the ambient of the station onto the rolling stock, and then when you depart, everything has to be seamless. We have a maintenance of the station, of the rolling stock, and then security are a priority as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And speaking to security, you know, she mentioned what are the security measures put in place, but let's speak to crowd control. I can imagine how many people wanted to board the train with the governor yesterday. I saw a lot of people from the pictures that I saw. But one thing that we have known with the existing train services in Nigeria, or maybe for a while, is that it gets to a point where people want to overcrowd the train. You see people on top, you see them by the sides, you know, you see them do all kinds of things that are not safe. What are the measures that have been put in place to ensure that just the people that are expected to officially be on the train continue to be on the train as years go by?
Thank you. Importantly, you have to know that from your intro, you can't board our train without a cowrie card. You use the cowrie card. It's being used all over the public transport mode in Lagos, both ferry, rail, and buses. Then, actually, in terms of ease of passenger movement, We have cameras, as I said. We have body scanner at the station. We can't board the train without going through the body scanner. And then in terms of card control, this cowrie card, once you have a cowrie card and you tap it in, the data keep counting. We know the number of people that can board at the same time. We know the number of people that are tapping, so we know that there are people that platform to board the train. Because we have the passenger, what they call it, threshold, so the train has capacity. Once we go beyond that, like the signal will tell us from the control instead of stop the track, make sure the platform, the conspire now, and allow the trains to go, we wait for the next one. So we have the mechanism of fully place to start control. And in terms of people coming as they go and then ease of movement, we have all the turnstiles both sides. If we are coming from the train station, we see that there's a bit of crowd, then we can automatically open it so people go out once we tap out. So we have put some measures in place, and then we see what happened about the governor yesterday is that people just came at a good time. In the train station, it's like, maybe come in batches and all that. But once you're on the platform, you can have your time and body. So put a measurement in place. What they call it, process and procedure to guide against car control and evacuation as well.
Yes, I just really do hope that they're going to be very strict, with those rules and regulations.
Of course.
We are very strict.
All right, so I was privileged to ask some questions or interview some sort of people yesterday on the train, and I want to relay the voice of the people. So while some were commending, some were also saying perhaps the government could look at the fare. Some said it was quite expensive because I think from CMS, Marina, to Mile 2, it's about 750 naira. Yes, for the government, we are also looking at the business side. Nobody wants to invest and not make return. We understand that, but how is the government willing, or what measures are you putting in place to ensure you are able to support Lagosians, especially in this downtime, while the government, on the other hand, is also making income from this business, because it's a business, either we like it or not?
Yeah, thank you. It's a business. At the same time, we need to understand that it won't go the price too high. That means we are deterring the passengers for commitment. Not our goal. Our goal is to have people on board, enjoy our train, to go and do their daily business. But now, as you said, the Marina to my 2 is 700, but 50% have this government directive, so 375. Then that's the way to go for now. So maybe we'll be able to do 750, yes, that's a flat rate. When the thing goes back to we are still open to suggestion, open to price review. No reference, that's 5%. Even Western world, that's what they call price population goes up inflation. But for now, it's 375.
Okay.
Yes, so let's talk about the estimates that were put out there. This train service is estimated to move about 500,000 people daily. Yes. That's for at the end of the phase 2. So we assume that maybe for the phase 1, we're looking at about 250,000 people daily. How did you come up with these numbers? And are you sure it's really feasible?
Yeah, well, before we do anything, that's what they call, we've done our own research, we've done studies done by international consulting firm. And we've done studies 3 years ago, we've done 2 years ago, 5 years ago, we've done last year again, to revalidate our studies to show that we have the numbers. Our studies telling us that we have the numbers. Because if you look at the data, it's a big populated area, all the way to about and all that. So the study said to us to have the passenger. That's where we did our projection.
Yeah, thank you. Now let's talk about issues that could arise from doing this business. This is not the first train service in Nigeria, but it is one of the first modern ones in recent times. So let's talk about ticketing issues. In case there are ticketing issues, what should Lagosians do? Who can they call on to? Who exactly is supposed to address this issue? Because sometimes we have issues with the BRT. So what is the customer complaint channel for this service?
Okay, thank you. We have dedicated numbers which will be displayed on all social media and at the stations. We have station managers, we have station controllers, we have a standby customer service in terms of passengers, in terms of the ticket itself. And it's a thing that we've been doing and we're evolving over time. So the numbers will be out. So if you have any queries, you send it to their email, numbers, and all that. So you can come to Lamata, or not to come to Lamata, go to the station. At your complaint, you can send email, you can call the number. I don't have it up and reach out. We want to fine tune it, make sure maybe 400 or something. Number is there. So when we deal with it, we get it. We prioritize our customers that we take them ISP. This is goes in terms of ticket, in terms of funds, in terms of video, number price, tap twice, all that will be resolved. And we've been doing that, we'll continue doing it.
Yes, thank you. Before we move away from ticketing now, is there a way to do all of that online? We're in a digital world, you know. Is there a way to just, without necessarily going to a train station to, you know, book and all of that?
Yeah, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. I think I don't know if I'm right to mention the partners, but it's going to be something that you can top up from your phone at the convenience of your house, in your living room, anywhere. But that's the way to go. I think that will be off online maybe the next 1 or 2 weeks. So you can do all your ticketing, all your activities from the home. Like you're topping up from your mobile phone. Or top up for your mobile phone, or you're buying your what do you call it? Credit for your lighting and all that. That's the ultimate, and that's where we've already done that. We're testing it. So you don't need to go to the train station. You can top it from your phone, even in your office, at home, and market. That's the way to go. You get it easily.
Yes, let me also bring to you this safety concern, because it's the first time we're having a train that is going to be moving on a bridge.
Yes.
We've had train services in Nigeria, but they've all been on land. This one is going to be in the air, you know, from what we have seen. What are the measures put in place in case there's an accident? There have been train accidents where trains would derail or, you know. So what is the measure put in place to manage an accident if it arises?
Thank you. First of all, we need to look at the infrastructure that is being implemented. On top of the rail, we have got the first one in Nigeria. From Marina to National Theatre, all the elevated stations have what is called the checkwell. That guiding buggy. Buggy is the tire of the train, then we use that word, the layman term. That guiding from derailment. And then the rolling stock itself has what we call a speed profile. And then there's a walkway in terms of if anything happens, maybe there's a fire or something. The power will be isolated, and there's a walkway you can walk on it. So we've done everything within, and we're still going to do more that prevent the accidents. The driver cannot speed beyond the speed provide, and there is what we call a dead man switch on the train itself that speeds or go beyond the profile, it will come up. Or if you are the dead man switch is a mechanism that comes up every 90 seconds. The driver does not acknowledge it, so you have to, the automatic brake will trigger, and the train will come to an halt. So that's what we call a dead man, to know the driver is alert, so he has a trigger, you have to acknowledge when the dead man switch stops off. So those things have been put in place. We have a tech wheel, we have a braking system, we have dead man switch, we have a static profile like that, we have fire measures, if anything happens, we have fire extinguisher on the train, we have speed profile, we have train first aider that will be going on the train as well in case we have any attack or something. So we put so many things in place, but we still going to improve more.
Yeah, thank you very much, Engineer Olasukome Okusaga from Lamata. I think it has been an interesting conversation.
I must say it has been.
And we'll continue to relate to him any other concern that we have. For me, one of the major concerns is if this investment is sustainable, because it's not the first time we'll have something new come in, just as you've said, but the fund needed to maintain it over 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years.
Because of our time, I actually wanted to ask if federal government is actually supporting on this project, but of course, our time is up.
We always have other time to look into other issues on this. But thank you very much for that report once again.
Thank you.
That's Grace Komalafe for you. And I am Olaoluwa Awe. We've come to the end of Business Insight today. We were supposed to talk about property law, but, you know, I think this is better. Thank you all for bearing with us. Have a nice day.